Hello, this is Max. A hacker girl anonymously helps the police find the real culprit of 3 serious crimes. Don't forget to subscribe. At the start of the movie, a beautiful woman named Kellyanne wakes up near a sidewalk in the bustling city of Montreal. Her fancy appearance and calm demeanor suggest that she is not homeless. As the sun begins to rise, Kellyanne makes her way towards the local courthouse. After completing the security checks, she is allowed inside one of the trial rooms, where several people like her are present. Soon, the judge announces that they are about to commence the trial of Mr. Ludovic Chevalier, who has been accused of abduction, confinement, brutally torturing, and killing 3 innocent girls, as well as the production of obscene materials. Here, we get to know that all the people present inside the courtroom are members of the jury. The judge then mentions that for the next 2 months, they will carry out this trial and requests everyone to be impartial and fair, so that Mr. Chevalier's fate can be rightfully determined. The judge also warns that some of the evidence to be presented can be extremely disturbing due to its violent nature, and anyone with a weak heart should leave immediately. When asked how he pleads to these charges, Chevalier pleads not guilty. After this, the prosecuting attorney is allowed to speak. She gets straight to the point and explains that Camille Blanc, Justine Roy, and Camille Bealy were aspiring young teenagers aged 13 to 16 who excelled in sports, education, and various other activities. However, their lives were brutally cut short by Chevalier, who set up a red room in his garage, a place where victims are tortured, killed, and their suffering is live-streamed on the internet for private individuals to watch for a fee. The attorney mentions that she watched the proof videos once and never looked at them again, describing the horrifying scenes she witnessed. She also mentions that an FBI agent found videos of Camille Justine on the dark web but didn't find Camille's video, which she considers a blessing because it would have given her even more nightmares. The attorney promises to bring justice to the deceased's families. Next, Chevalier's defense attorney begins his speech, acknowledging the heinous nature of the crimes but asking the jury to keep an open mind. He argues that it's easy to blame a man who is already in trouble, but without factual evidence, they cannot be certain if he is the true culprit. The defense attorney portrays his client as an ideal citizen with no previous law-breaking record, not even a parking ticket. He suggests that Chevalier is being used as a scapegoat because his appearance matches that of the killer, whose eyes are visible in the videos but who wore a mask. The defense attorney raises doubts about the evidence found on Chevalier's computer, suggesting that someone might have hacked into his system and uploaded the videos. He also points out that there have been no significant financial transactions in Chevalier's recent statements, implying that if he were the killer, he would have had substantial cash from those who pay to watch such red rooms. The defense attorney concludes his speech by emphasizing that no one can say for sure that Chevalier is the killer, as there is no concrete evidence against him. After the hearing ends for the day, everyone leaves the courtroom, and outside, reporters are seen interviewing a girl. Unlike most of the people, she believes that Chevalier is innocent and that the prosecutors are trying to frame him. She claims that the real killer is out there somewhere, roaming freely. On the other hand, we see Kellyanne, who arrives at her lavish apartment in a high-rise building. She lives alone and spends most of her time on her impressively set-up computers. Kellyanne is a local model, but she is also a trader, a professional poker player, and an avid tech enthusiast. She even has an AI assistant to look after her schedule. After having dinner and taking a shower, she goes to sleep at the same spot from the start of the movie because she wants to reach the nearby courthouse as early as possible, showing her fascination with the ongoing murder case. Later, she is startled awake by the same woman from earlier who was talking to the reporters. Her name is Clementine, and she politely asks Kellyanne if she would like some coffee. Kellyanne declines the coffee, but their conversation marks the start of their friendship. Afterwards, they arrive outside the courthouse, and Clementine cannot stop talking about Chevalier, appearing to be fascinated by him. When the prosecution resumes, one of the victim's mothers is asked to give her statement. She displays a picture of Camille, saying it was taken on the day she disappeared, and shares details of what she was wearing her school uniform. The prosecution attorney then shows a picture of the same clothes found buried in Chevalier's residence. The mother adds that Camille wore braces, and the attorney reveals that they also found a set of teeth with braces, shocking everyone in the courtroom. Chevalier remains seated inside his glass box, showing no expressions or words. During the lunch break, Clementine continues to express her belief that they are trying to frame Chevalier. She argues that the buried school uniform could have belonged to anyone and suggests that the stains on it might be from a girl's period. She also questions whether the braces they found could belong to someone else. As the two girls sit down for lunch, Kellyanne plays a quick game of poker and wins some cash. She even gives Clementine $20 to pay for their lunch. That night, we see Kellyanne in front of her computer, digging for information about the case. She turns out to be an exceptional hacker who uses various websites from the dark web to gather information. She researches Camille's mother and finds out about her workplace. She also discovers her home address by zooming in on a police video shot outside her house. Using Google Maps, she determines that their residence has a password lock on the main entrance. Kellyanne effortlessly hacks into Camille's mother's email, finding the lock's password, although her motive for doing this is not clear. After completing her hacking session, Kellyanne engages in some exercises to stay fit and then goes to her modeling studio to pose for pictures. In the next scene, as she wanders through the streets, she comes across Clementine, who appears to be short on cash and mentions that she has been sleeping on the streets every night. Feeling compassion for her, Kellyanne brings Clementine to her apartment. That night, they order pizza and share details about their lives. Clementine reveals that she is from a small town just outside Quebec. She traveled a considerable distance to support Chevalier. Later, a comedy show on television discusses the Montreal murder case, making fun of Chevalier and using derogatory terms to describe him. They establish a hotline for people to share their opinions. Clementine, frustrated with baseless accusations against Chevalier, seizes the opportunity to express her frustration. She calls the show and passionately argues that the judicial system is corrupt and that Chevalier is innocent, emphasizing the need for concrete evidence before labeling him a murderer. She even criticizes the hosts and the guests on live television, leading to shock and jeers from the audience. The following morning, Clementine is still upset. Kellyanne tries to cheer her up by teaching her how to play squash. Their bond deepens as they spend more time together, becoming inseparable over the next few days. Kellyanne manages to balance her modeling and hacking activities with her time with Clementine. In a court session, it's announced that two gruesome murder videos of Camille Justine, each 28 and 31 minutes long, will be shown to shed light on the identity of the murderer. Due to the sensitive nature of the evidence, only the victim's relatives are allowed to watch, leaving others outside. Clementine is disappointed and tries to catch a glimpse through the door but learns that the killer does not speak in the videos. Kellyanne hints that she obtained the videos from the dark web, leading to Clementine's determination to watch them despite their brutality. At Kellyanne's house, they start watching the videos, but Clementine becomes horrified and shaken by the brutality, unable to continue for long. Kelly stops the video, showing the killer's eyes. Clementine is unable to proceed with the second video, but Kelly insists on playing it. Later, Clementine decides she wants to go home, seemingly changed by what she witnessed. In another court session, an expert explains that the dark web is accessible through the Tor network, which aims to protect user privacy but has recently enabled live streaming and cryptocurrency transactions, making red rooms passable. Subsequently, Kellyanne contacts an anonymous dark web seller and expresses interest in something significant, assuring her seriousness. The seller asks if she is ready and instructs her to notify him when she is. As days pass, Kellyanne continues her jury duties and personal life. Her modeling career takes a hit when her agent informs her of her cancellation due to a gambling addiction. Devastated, she undergoes a significant transformation, coloring her hair blonde. In court, she puts on blue contact lenses while staring at Chevalier, suggesting a change in her appearance and intentions. She changes out of her formal attire to reveal a school uniform identical to the one Camille was wearing when she was kidnapped. Kellyanne even attaches a fake brace to her teeth to mimic Camille's appearance. The courtroom is disturbed by her transformation, especially Camille's parents, and security quickly intervenes, escorting Kellyanne out. While being removed, she waves at Chevalier, who surprisingly waves back, marking his first interaction with anyone. As a result of this incident, Kellyanne faces significant backlash. The media labels her as crazy, and she loses her friends and agents. Alone and depressed, she reaches out to the same anonymous seller from before and expresses her readiness. They conduct some identification checks, and the seller informs her that she will receive the access code the next day at 7 p.m., instructing her to go to a local payphone for safety. Kellyanne visits the payphone as instructed and receives the access code. Upon returning to her apartment, She quickly sells all her cryptocurrency and enters the access code on an illegal website. A countdown begins, revealing that the third murder video, which authorities haven't located yet, is being auctioned on the dark web, depicting Camille's brutal death. As the countdown continues, Kellyanne engages in a high-stakes poker game on the dark web, using Bitcoin for bets. She hopes to earn more Bitcoin to increase her chances of winning the auction. The auction begins, and wealthy participants start bidding. The initial bids are low, but they quickly rise to more than 10 Bitcoins. Kellyanne is under immense stress because she doesn't have that amount of Bitcoin, and her ability to win the auction hinges on her success in the poker game. The game intensifies as experienced players compete. With her extensive poker knowledge and a bit of luck, Kellyanne takes the risk of betting all she has in the poker game and manages to win. Now, she has 21,59 Bitcoin at her disposal. She promptly submits a massive bid, starting at 18,5 BTC and gradually increasing it until it reaches 21,5 BTC. Nervous because it's all she has, Kellyanne is relieved when no one can outbid her. Once the auction ends, she excitedly downloads the video to her computer and intends to watch it immediately, despite the disturbing nature of the content. She feels a sense of accomplishment. Afterwards, she carefully sneaks out of her apartment through the parking lot, making sure to avoid detection by security cameras. She then goes to Camille's home and gains entry using the security code. Since everyone is asleep, no one notices her presence. Kellyanne silently leaves a pen drive containing the video of Camille's murder on the table. The next morning, a reporter stationed outside the courthouse announces that the case has been closed in an unexpected turn of events. Chevalier has confessed to his crimes, triggered by the police obtaining clear footage of Camille's murder in which Chevalier is more visible. His Bitcoin transactions were also traced back to his account. The reporter concludes by stating that Chevalier will spend the rest of his life behind bars. In the final scene, Clementine is interviewed by a talk show host. She mentions that she initially saw sadness in Chevalier's eyes, which led her to believe he might be innocent. However, she is now trying her best to put him out of her mind. If you are interested in such films, please proceed to the next video on the screen and also share your thoughts about this film in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. Goodbye.